Yeah, I said I had enough of Fox, and I really did, but it kept going, and I saw that they were going to have Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick on. Okay, I'm here in Texas, and I'm going to tell you, this guy is one of the biggest racists in the entire state of Texas, and he basically wants to run for governor after our current governor leaves, you know, and he's no bag of Lucky Charms either. But this guy is an out-and-out racist. I'm going to break him down as he's making his ridiculous comments.
Bring in Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick for more on this. You just heard our reporting. Lieutenant Governor, you're with us. There you are.
Yes, I am.
First of all, our condolences across the nation. We're all praying for what's happened in your state and in your home city. Just big questions now about the reporting that just happened, some of the assets that are coming to you. First of all, what help you're getting, and then what help you need.
One of the areas we needed this morning, and we still need, are counselors. We're solving that issue because every police officer involved in a shooting has a chance to sit down with a counselor. And quite frankly, there were so many police firing last night. We were short of counselors here, and we're bringing that assistance from around the state. You know, Harris, I've heard a lot. I've been sitting here listening to the show, and I want to bring us back to real people who died last night and were wounded. Brent Thompson, married 2 weeks ago, shot 10 or 12 times yesterday, had a bulletproof vest on, as they all did. The bullets pierced the...
Yeah, and those guys were shot by white guys who had superior weaponry to the police officers. But he's not going to mention the fact that it was white guys that shot those cops.
The vest. He was running up to take out a gunman who outgunned him and probably had body armor on. These were officers last night. Many of them never had a chance, never knew what hit them. Shot in the back. And I do blame people on social media with their hatred towards police. I saw Jesse Jackson, I think it was on Fox the other night, calling police racist without any facts.
All right, so now he's going to get into his rant. Now, the one key part that all of these guys on Fox never seem to be able to say is that the protesters are not protesting against all police. They are protesting against the bad police officers. Without a doubt, there are some really good police officers out there, and I'm going to venture to say that the majority of the police officers out there are, you know, pretty decent. But what the Black Lives Matter movement and just regular people want to see is that the bad police officers get weeded out, get rid of these guys. But this guy is going to lump the protests against the bad police officers, and he's going to try to label it as protests against all police officers, and that is absolutely not true.
I do blame former Black Lives Matter protests. Last night was peaceful, but others have not been, and we've heard the pigs in the blanket. This has to stop, Harris. These are real people. I was at the hospital last night and saw 4 bodies of deceased officers go by on the gurney, and police officers standing in salute. We have a precious few thousand, Harris, in every city that protect millions, and we're not going to have them much longer. Spouses of husbands and wives or parents of sons and daughters are going to say, you can't do this as a career. Or men and women who serve, black, brown, white, Asian, all, reflecting our community, are going to say, I have a family I have to protect. All of these officers, has been said last night, lost their life protecting people who were protesting against them.
That's not true. Those people that lost their lives for the people that were protesting, those people weren't protesting against them because they were doing the right thing. They were protesting against the bad cops, like that cop that shot that man up in Minnesota. They weren't protesting against the good cops. But you want to basically create a narrative that the protesters were protesting against all cops. That is absolutely not true. That's rhetoric.
This has to end. I grew up in a world, I've been around long enough that we've always had bad people, we've always had dangerous people, but the general public respected the police.
Right. We've always had bad people. We've always had dangerous people. And it is the job of the police to do something about the bad people and the dangerous people. That includes the bad people and dangerous people that wear police uniforms with guns on their hips. But for some reason, the cops can't seem to do anything about those particular bad people.
Too many in the general public who aren't criminals but have a big mouth are creating situations like we saw last night. This was obviously organized weeks ago because, as someone said earlier, this rally wasn't, or this protest wasn't arranged until about this time yesterday morning. So this was going to happen at some point. These men were going to use a trigger moment. But let's not forget these people. They left behind children and wives and husbands, and this is a tragedy, not just for Dallas and not just for Texas, but for America.
Okay, and what about the people that those bad cops killed, those men that left behind wives and girlfriends and children? You don't have anything to say about those people. You're just concerned about your cops.
And we have to have the backs of law enforcement. They have to know from the general public that we will not tolerate when people threaten to kill them. All those protesters last night, they ran the other way, expecting the men and women in blue to turn around and protect them. What hypocrites! And I understand the First Amendment, I understand freedom of speech, and I defend it. It is in our Constitution, it is in our soul.
Well, actually, you're not defending it because you just got through talking about people that, quote unquote, aren't criminals but have big mouths. I thought that having a big mouth and saying something was your right under the First Amendment. So you're being a little hypocritical with that statement.
But you can't go out on social media and mainstream media and everywhere else and say that the police are racist, that the police are hateful, the police are killers. These are people, you know, Harris.
Yes, you can. You can say that some police are racist, some police are killers. That's exactly what your First Amendment freedom of speech rights allow you to do, especially when you say some, not all.
They're the only people, along with firemen and a few other positions, but police officers are really the only people who have a job description. That every day when they go to work, part of their duty says, if I have to give my life today for a stranger that I don't know, who's another citizen, whether they're for me or against me, I will. And that's what we saw last night.
Yeah.
I don't do that, you don't do that. The president, no one goes to work in this country with part of their job responsibility of saying, I will die for someone I don't know because that's my duty.
All right, but you forgot the rest of the unwritten rule that they swear to. And again, it's unwritten, that I'm part of my job description is also that I will make it home every night, and I will take absolutely no risk, whether perceived or unperceived, in performing that part of my job that says I make it home every night.
We have to have their back, and I'm sick and tired of those who are protesting our police and putting their lives in danger. Where there's wrong, and that has to be addressed. But this has got to stop, and it needs to stop now.
Lieutenant Governor of the state of Texas, if people...
Yeah, so that's his take on it. But if you paid attention, he was being totally hypocritical as far as the First Amendment and people's freedom of speech. On one hand, he says people have the right to freedom of speech, but at the same time, he's saying that they don't need to utilize the right, i.e. by opening up their mouth and protesting against bad cops.